We are here today with Leanne Clement, General Director for Opera Louisiane. Leanne, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. So tell us about yourself. How did you get started in music?
Well, this is one of my favorite stories to tell because it really is kind of magical for me when I realized this is how I came to be an opera singer. I was actually in middle school in Virginia, and I grew up in a very rural town. And we had a field trip. Basically, Virginia Opera came to our school, and they performed a program called Opera in a Box. And they had 4 opera singers. They came on stage, and they took hats out of a box, and they put them on their heads, and they started singing arias from different operas. So every time they put a different hat on, they would be transformed into, a new singer. And I just remember being transformed in that moment to like, oh my gosh, I have never seen or heard anything like this. It was amazing. I remember the seat I was sitting in, like 3 rows back from the front, 4 in. It just really kind of made my brain just go, wow, what is that sound? And how do I hear more of it? How can I make that sound? And the other thing is that those opera singers, they looked like me. There was a woman there who had a deeper voice, and she was a larger woman, and she sang with such confidence and poise. And I looked at her and I thought, I want to be like that. I want to be like that woman on stage and have that poise and confidence. And so that's how I came to know about opera. And then from there, I started studying music and kind of pursuing this dream of becoming an opera singer and now running an opera company.
Wow, okay. So your very first experience with music is what made you get involved with opera. It was that right off the bat.
It really was. I mean, it was, I will say that I had a lot of experience with music just at my church. I sang in the church choir, but I was horribly shy growing up. I mean, my sister she was the big star. She walked into the room and she could sing anything, she could harmonize with anything, and I was happy to hide in her shadow. But something about it really spoke to me. And it took a while for me to really find the confidence to even pursue it. And I started taking voice lessons. And then for a while I thought, oh yes, I'm really going to pursue opera. And then I thought, oh no, I'm not ready to do that. So when I went to college, I was going to be a lawyer. I was an English major, and I sang in some of the shows at my undergrad, but I didn't think that I was going to pursue opera. But it just kept coming back, and I couldn't say no.
Huh. So when did you finally decide to choose opera, to choose that's what you were going to do?
Well, actually around 2002, I guess, I had graduated from my undergraduate in Virginia in 2000, and I had been working in a church for a while, which I loved. I loved doing all this outreach, working with kids, and I realized I really missed singing. And I found this man named Gary Green, who had come to work as an artist in residence at William & Mary, which is my undergrad. And he said, you have a real gift. You really need to pursue this. And he helped me to find my voice again. And so after that, he helped me apply for graduate schools, and I came and auditioned at LSU. And of course, they hold auditions in April when it's beautiful, and it's like, there's all of this wonderful smells and beautiful flowers, and it's a different landscape than I'd ever seen before, and I was totally hooked after coming for that audition. And luckily I got into the school too. That helped.
Wow. So you mentioned that you grew up in Virginia. So what originally brought you down here to Louisiana?
Well, that graduate degree is the first time I ever came to Louisiana. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but LSU has one of the top 10 graduate programs in voice in the country.
Wow.
And so it was really exciting when I was accepted. And the landscape and the culture, it just really hooked me. And I will say that on the way back to the airport after my audition, I thought my audition was awful, and it probably was pretty bad. But I just cried on the way back because I thought, I'm not going to get in. I'm not going to be able to live in this beautiful tropical place. But then I got the call, and it was a life-changing moment. And my mentor, Gary Green, he came with me for that audition, which was a huge support. So it was wonderful. And then I moved here in August of 2003 and thought that I would sweat to death. And anyway, but I decided to stay, and it's amazing.
Wow. So what is your favorite thing about Baton Rouge?
Oh, this is a great question. I think what I love about Baton Rouge is that it's a city that has many of the perks of living in a city, but it's small enough that I can walk down the street anytime in downtown Baton Rouge and run into someone I know, and that there's always something to do here. You know, I think that people who ever think that they are bored in Baton Rouge, they just don't have the right access to the right calendars. You know, seriously, there's just so much to do, and so many family-friendly events, events for all ages. It just really is, it's wonderful. So I love that city feel, but also has a little bit of a small town, feel as well.
Nice. How did you become involved with Opera Louisiane?
Well, I was finishing my doctorate degree at LSU, and Robert Grayson is the man who started Opera Louisiana. He's a tenor. He had a fantastic career, and he's been a professor at LSU for many years. He's recently retired. But he noticed that, our town as the capital city doesn't have an opera program, but yet doesn't have an opera company. There's an opera program at LSU, of course. But he and Amanda Vincent, who is the other co-founder, they said, we really need an opera company here in Baton Rouge. And so they started the company in 2007. In 2008, they asked me to come help in the office with a few things, help make a program, do a few housekeeping items at the office, and I never stopped working. I loved it. I loved the organizational side of things. I've always liked that. I've always liked being in charge of things. So I was happy to take that on. And frankly, I was finishing my doctorate. I'd done a lot of auditions, but I hadn't gotten any opportunities. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And a full-time position was available at Opera Louisiana, and I took it with full intention of not being there very long and going to have a fabulous career singing. But this is the career that was meant for me. I am so fulfilled in what I do.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us about the upcoming year for Opera Louisiana. I know your season has already begun, but tell us about what's to come.
Sure. So each year we have 4 major productions, and then we have 4 smaller luncheon events that are opportunities for people to kind of give opera a try. Because, I understand some people are a little afraid to go out and make that 3-hour commitment initially, but we try to give them opportunities for very different interactions with opera. So what we have coming up next is one of my favorite things, and that's our Young People's Opera program. And this year our performance is Cinderella. And this is literally what it sounds like. It is an opera that is made for children. So we've reduced it down to 90 minutes. And each year we invite 4th, 5th, and 6th graders from schools to come and see the performance on field trips. But then we also have the actual performance for the public on November 2nd. And that's at 2 p.m. And we love this production because we have so many kids who come, and they come in costume. So we have lots of Cinderellas running around. I have a 5-year-old, and she loves this event because she gets to dress up in her princess costume. We have the Cinderella carriage. We have it outside so people can take pictures. And besides that, there's a lot of great music and singing, too, that goes along with it. But I really love this because we have so many families who come, grandparents bringing grandchildren. And I take some time at the beginning of the show to introduce kids to the orchestra, to introduce them to the voices of the singers, and to do a little teaching about opera. And then I also remind parents that this is an opera for kids. So if your kid wants to sing along or they want to dance in the aisle, that's okay. This is a fun event, and you don't have to worry about taking them out unless it makes you uncomfortable. But it's really wonderful. So that's Cinderella coming up. So coming up next after Cinderella, we have Christmas in Carols, and that's on December 20th. And this is basically a night where we really celebrate the holidays. And it starts with a one-act opera by Menotti. It's all in English, and it's the opera Amal and the Night Visitors. And this was written originally for TV. It was the first opera ever made for TV back in the 1970s, I believe. And so, anyway, the story is really beautiful because it's about a young boy and his mother who are visited by the Magi on their way to see the baby Jesus. And they stop at their house for the night. They need someplace to stay. Well, this young boy named Amal, and he and his mother are very poor, and he walks with a crutch. And during the course of the night, his mother says, she sees all this gold and riches in her house, and she says, what I could do for my child with that gold. And she actually decides to steal some of the gold that they're taking to Jesus. It's a beautiful moment when Amal defends his mother, and when the kings say, this treasure, you can have it. The king that we're going to see doesn't need it. It gives me chill bumps every time. It's really a beautiful moment. And then Amal makes this incredible selfless gift, and he receives a miracle. And it's just beautiful. It's 1 hour. It's, again, a great opportunity for families to come. And then after the show, we have a big Christmas Carol sing-along, which, who doesn't love that? The characters from the show come out into the audience, and they, sit next to you and sing Christmas carols. And it's
that's
really
so fun.
It's really a beautiful community event. It's wonderful. We have people from 7 different faiths who are represented in our community chorus. It's really something we've tried to make into an event that is not just representing the Christian holiday of Christmas, but just the holidays and family in general. So I'm really thrilled, and our set is gorgeous. So it's going to be fun. So that's December, and then our next production is in April of 2020. That's our next big production, and that's The Tales of Hoffmann, and that'll be at the Manship Theater. That's a psychological thriller about a poet who's in love with 3 different women who all might represent one woman. It's really interesting just to watch him kind of go through these phases of one of the women he's in love with is a mechanical doll, and it's all kind of otherworldly, a little steampunk almost. It's going to be a really fun production. So, and we have beautiful singers coming in for that. I will say I'm most excited. I'm excited about all the singers, but I'm really excited about our 2 leads for this show. One, Frederick Ballantyne. He just made his debut at the Metropolitan Opera in Porgy and Bess. And then Megan Barrera, who actually went to LSU. She's gone on to have a fabulous career, and so she's going to kind of have a homecoming here, coming back to sing all 4 of the heroines, all 4 of the women he's in love with. So It's going to be a big show. It'll be great.
That is so exciting. That sounds like so much fun. So you mentioned the luncheons. It's Lunch with Leanne series. Tell us some more about that. What do people expect at that?
Well, these, like I said, I really created them so that people could have a chance to give opera a try, and we're really specific about keeping it to this time period of 11:30 to 1 o'clock on Mondays throughout the year. And basically you get a half-hour concert, and then it's followed by a lunch provided by Crown Plaza. And Crown Plaza does a great job they'll kind of cater the luncheon to the theme of the concert, and they've done a really fantastic job, really great food. They're also wonderful supporters of the opera. I just can't go without saying that. Then after the luncheon, during the concert, I will talk in between each number and give a little bit of background about the music or about the singer. It's almost like initially I kind of thought of it as pop-up video for opera, I don't want it to be too heavy. So I'm not going to say this composer was born in this year and died this year. It's going to be interesting facts about the composers, about the pieces of music, and about the singers.
Okay, so I guess does the luncheon kind of serve as a way for people to connect with the opera singers, get a chance to talk to them?
Absolutely. So after they sing the concert, then the singer joins us for lunch, and we have a great time. You know, they usually get around to each of the tables so that everybody can say hi to them, get their picture taken. It really is a nice way to connect with the artists.
That sounds like so much fun. And then the Young People's Opera program, tell us more about that. Is that just concerts that are, programmed around children and their interests?
Sure. So that is our Cinderella program, and it is designed for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and that's kind of what started Opera Louisiane back in 2007 and 2008. There are 3 shows that we do right now. We have plans to add a couple of others. We do Hansel and Gretel, Cinderella, and the Magic Flute, which are all very kid-friendly shows. And what we've done, our artistic director, who is just amazing, has taken those giant shows and reduced them down to 90 minutes. He's translated them into English, into fun English that kids enjoy.
Live like a king and be happy, and even my clothes would be snappy.
And each year we invite 4th, 5th, and 6th graders from all over the greater Baton Rouge area to come and experience opera live. And they love it. They go wild for it. It's really exciting. And then we always have a public performance also, it's always free to kids and very, very inexpensive for adults.
Wonderful. So what makes a great opera singer?
Oh, this is so many things. You know what I've realized over the years? I used to think that it was all about talent. And it's a lot about talent. There are some singers who, are born with a really natural gift. But even those singers, there's no way to be a really great singer unless you really work at it. You have to practice. You have to work every day. The voice is like, it's a muscle. It's like being an athlete. You have to exercise it every day. If you're going to sing a 3-hour opera, your voice has got to be ready for that. You can't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do this. So what I've seen over the years is that the singers who are really successful, and by successful, I don't mean like they're singing on the stage of the Met and La Scala. I mean, that's success also. But I mean the singers who really communicate to the audience. Those singers are the ones who have really invested the time in preparing their roles, and they're really committed to communicating to the audience. And it's not so much about, look at me and look how fantastic I can sing, but listen to this music and the story that I have to tell. So I feel like those singers that are most successful are the ones who are compassionate and in touch with the fact that they get to be amazing storytellers, and that's their focus, as opposed to what's the next great house I can sing in again. I can say very proudly that we've had many singers on our stage who also sing at the Met, at some of the biggest houses in the country, and some who have started here and gone on to have great careers. But I'll also say there are many singers who have come through here that I have just been blown away by and moved by, who they have regional careers. They sing when they want to sing. They have another full-time job that they do, but they really have something to say. And those are the singers, I think, that are most successful, are the ones who really have something to say.
Wow. How do you think that this day and age of social media and technological devices, how do you think that that's affecting things like the opera and all of the arts, really?
It's been good for us, actually, because opera is really hard to sell when you can't see it. It's one of our biggest challenges is to try to describe opera to someone. It's really hard to do unless you can sing it to them, and you usually don't carry around an orchestra with you. So it's been good for us in that you can take out your cell phone and just take a little video and share, this is what our rehearsal looked like last night. It's also been great for us, for people to see that singers are real people. You know, for a long time, you think about the great singers of history, Maria Callas and Joan Sutherland, Pavarotti. You think, who are those people? They're like untouchable. And I think opera singers in general kind of have that mystique about them because we do this thing with our voices that is, it's pretty incredible, and it scares people a little bit. I think that's why opera is a little scary, because it's like, how do you do that? But one of the nice things about social media is that singers can be real people on their social media accounts. We can share that with our patrons and our donors and say, you know, get to know our singers. This singer is also, you know, a world champion knitter or something, you know, like it's really, you can see that they're really people. And that, I think that's really important in this day and age, is to have that personal connection, even if it's through your phone or something, or a website of that sort.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for all of these insights into the opera world. I'm
You're
so
welcome.
excited to learn about all of this. And everyone, please visit operalouisiane.com to get your tickets for the upcoming season.